Hello, my name is Keith Haswell and I'm a professional astrologer with over 30,000 clients worldwide and 40 years experience in the business. And what a wonderful journey it has been for me to be able to do those 30,000 horoscopes and to get so much beautiful feedback from my clients about the accuracy and the validity, but not only the accuracy and the validity, but the motivation and inspiration for change that my reading for them has made in their life. And so what I want to speak with you on this video about is the motivation and the power to change. All of us are on a path of growth. All of us have been through an incredible journey to get where we are today. Spiritual growth is simply the growth and expansion of your consciousness. But we have consciousness in a specific way, which is in the physical realm. Consciousness needs to expand and keep on expanding. And you started off not as a fully intelligent Einstein, no. You started off as a human animal. And your motivation, your simple motivation was to survive. Survival needs were all that you could concentrate on at that level of your consciousness development. And then something happened in one of your lifetimes there at the animal-human level, and you said there's got to be more to life than just survival. And that started a new life for you, which gave you an opportunity to work on the inner side of yourself, on your thoughts and your feelings and your attitudes and your beliefs. And so you moved into what you might call the metaphysical realm of our growth and development at the human level. And then you come to a conclusion there in that one life, that last life at that basic level of growth, that there's got to be more to life than things. There's got to be more to life than acquiring a car and acquiring a television set and getting a good job and having a circle of friends and so forth. There's got to be more to life than just this. And that started your spiritual potential. So this is where we're all at. We're all at the level of growth on the spiritual level. And it's a very exciting time to be alive because humanity is becoming conscious, so much more conscious, because there's a massive intake of knowledge. So we've had a lot of experience in life in the last 100 years, and now we're going to be experiencing and expressing our consciousness in a different way. So this is the path of growth that you have reached, and this is the level that you have reached, and you are in a position now to take some gigantic steps forward in the evolution of your consciousness. But what is it that motivates change? What is it that inspires you to make change inside of yourself, to really apply yourself to your spiritual growth? Well, you've got your raw materials. Everybody's got the same raw materials. You've got your attitudes and your beliefs and your thoughts and your feelings and the decisions and the choices. And you've got the tools that mold and shape those raw materials into your reality. And they are your desire, your imagination, and your expectancy. So choice is paramount in the raw materials there. Everything that exists in your reality must fit in with the image that you hold of yourself. Now, where do you get the motivation to change that image? Where do you get the motivation and the inspiration to make those choices? To make those choices to change? Well, I suggest that you have an intake of knowledge. That's what consciousness expansion is all about. We have some friends on this inner path, the inner friends. We have our future self. we have our higher self. And as we become more of our higher self, it becomes more of God and Goddess. You've got a variety of minds. You've got a conscious mind, you've got a subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is incredible. It remembers every single thing that ever happened in your lifetime, every single thing that you've ever witnessed, every single thought and feeling that you ever had in this lifetime is recorded there in your subconscious mind. Tremendously conscious. And you've got a higher mind, and that higher mind remembers every single thing that's ever happened in all of your lifetimes. So your higher consciousness, your higher self, has in the record all of the events and conditions and thoughts and feelings and decisions and choices that you ever made in any of your lifetimes, and you've lived hundreds of them. So which mind is the most powerful? The conscious mind, the subconscious mind, or the higher conscious mind? And the answer is the most powerful mind is the conscious mind, because the conscious mind has choice in this reality. And it's through this reality, through this space-time rule set, that we must grow, that we must reach and we must stretch to become more of God, Goddess, all that is. So we are made in the image of God, and we are growing every day, every year, every decade, every lifetime to become more in the likeness of the image of God. So you've got choice, which is fundamental, and you've got image, which is fundamental. And how do you make those right choices and decisions? You must develop wisdom. How do you change that image of yourself? You must have wisdom. And wisdom can only come from experience and an intake of knowledge. Experience, you'll never develop wisdom just through experience. You'll never develop wisdom just through an intake of knowledge. It must be a combination of the two, experience and an intake of knowledge, and out of it synergistically comes a whole that is greater than the sum of the parts. And that whole is wisdom. So what I'm suggesting to you is that you start thinking clearly, logically, about the wonders and the beauty of God, Goddess, all that is. Even just the physical body, what sort of motivation and inspiration can we gain just from the wonders of our physical body? Think of losing an eye. What it has meant to people who have lost an eyesight, and then they have some sort of corneal graft or whatever it is in the modern wonders of science, and that restores their sight. Wow! What an appreciation that they have for the wonder and the magic and the miracles that is in that eyeball. Think of the wonders of the skin. The skin is an incredible thing, and people who've had bad burns to their body will tell you how important their skin is, and how it looks after all of the innards of the body and protects everything that's in there, and it's so tough and so strong. Think of the wonders of your ears. People who've lost their hearing have got such an appreciation for their hearing when it is restored through a cochlear implant or something along those lines. We are so fortunate to have all of these wonderful things there in our body. Think of the tongue. What a wonderful invention that tongue is. Without that tongue you wouldn't be able to taste, and you wouldn't be able to speak. What an incredible thing. That's all done by design. And this design means that there has to be a designer. Science hasn't been able to invent one thing. And people who've lost their fingers or lost a finger will tell you how an incredible invention that these things are. They're a creation by God and Goddess. These things just don't happen as a random chance through some sort of evolutionary process. Think of what it means to be able to pick things up and to be able to feel things, to be able to touch the face of a loved one. Think of how beautiful our body is. Think of the lungs. Oh my goodness. The lungs there just oxygenate the blood. And if you have anything wrong with your lungs, you know what I'm talking about. How much you appreciate that incredible design that's there in those lungs. And when the lungs are not working properly and clog up and you've got to go on to antibiotics and everything, you're full of fear that you're going to get pneumonia and so forth. They're an incredible pair of wonderful devices in there that oxygenate the blood and purify everything and keep our body healthy. Think of the liver. The liver replenishes the cells. You know what? There's not one cell in your body that's older than 7 years old. Every single cell in your body is replaced every 7 years. So when you look at yourself, you're only 7 years old. Whatever you're looking at. And that's all replenished by the liver. And we abuse our liver through alcohol and talk to people who have cirrhosis of the liver. And they'll tell you what a wonderful invention that the liver is and how they wish they would have looked after it. Think of the kidneys and the wonderful invention that the kidneys are, the wonderful creation and the design that goes into the kidneys. The kidneys purify the blood and take all of the impurities out of the blood and expel it in the form of urine. That is an amazing feat. And talk to somebody who's lost a kidney or who have cirrhosis of the kidneys or whatever the problem is, stones in the kidneys and so forth. They'll soon tell you that they wish they would have looked after those kidneys. What about the heart? The heart is an incredible thing. It works tirelessly for 65 to 85 years or more to circulate that blood around the body to every part of the body. And if it doesn't do that job, that part of the body dies. And it's an incredible thing, and we abuse it so much through alcohol and drugs and high cholesterol food and so forth. It blocks up the arteries and makes it hard for the heart to work. And we live under a system of stress and tension. We don't appreciate the wonderful gift and the wonderful design that's there in that heart. And what about the digestive system, where we can take all this food into our cells, and out of all of that food comes all of the goodness in the form of vitamins and minerals and whatever, protein and so forth, that it gets distributed through the bloodstream into the cells. Look, this is an absolutely incredible thing. Look at the knees. Talk to people who've lost their use of their knee and had to have an artificial knee put in there. Talk to people who've lost a lower leg in these bombs in Afghanistan and so forth. Talk to them about how important it is to have a foot and how important it is to have a lower leg. Think of the bladder, think of the bowel. The workings of the body is just so incredible, so incredible. Look, I invite you to be inspired by this wonderful design that God and Goddess have got there in our body, with our endocrine system and our lymphatic system, our digestive system, our immune system, and so on and so forth. Look, I could go on forever about how much I love God, Goddess, all that is. But to think that they've given us all the power of eternal life. We can never ever die. Doesn't matter if we commit suicide tomorrow. We come back and we learn from that lesson. We learn from that experience that we learn to appreciate life more, because we come back with some limitation that's there in the body that makes us so grateful to be alive. Look, the astrology, what an incredible thing astrology is. To think that those planets are in their perfect location in their revolution around the sun so that they can have impact upon our life here on Earth. The moon rules your emotions and your imagination. The sun rules your overall personality. Mercury rules your mind. Venus your love nature. Mars your energy levels. Jupiter your higher mind. Saturn your practicality and organisational ability. And Uranus rules your intuition and your innovative powers. Neptune rules your psychic ability and your spirituality. Pluto rules your transformation and change capabilities. We've got all of these planets there. They all are there by design. It's no trouble at all for God and Goddess to create these sort of things. They've created the miracle of your body. I invite you to fall head over heels in love with God, Goddess, all that is. Because there's no alternative when you start thinking about it. When you start thinking about the wonders of the body and the wonders of our creation and the fact that they have given us all of the properties, all of the qualities and all of the powers of themselves inside of ourselves now. Our task is to recognise that fact and unfold those powers. And we have the choice now to be able to do so through not just experience. We've had a lot of experience in life, but also through an intake of knowledge. And to apply yourself and commit yourself to that. Let's start developing that goodness, truth and beauty that's there of yourself. Let's work together as a team to unfold those powers, strengths and talents there inside of yourself. Yes, I invite you to make choices. To make choices to grow and reach and stretch, to change the image that you have inside of yourself of who you really are, to realise the wonder and the beauty of you. You are not your limitations. You are not your blockages. You are not your addictions. They are the not you. You had to have choice. You had to have choice to abuse yourself in order to be able to learn to love yourself. If you only had the choice to love yourself, then there wouldn't be a choice. So we came into this world, which is a world of free will. And that world of free will is the way that we've chosen to grow as a consciousness unit. So let's all work together as a team. Let's all realise that as we bring about changes within ourselves, as we make right choices for growth choices, and as we change our image through that intake of knowledge, then we radiate a resonant wave of causation out there into the world of human living and thinking. And that inspires millions of people all over the world that you will never meet. The days of standing up on soapboxes and cramming stuff down people's throat that they're not ready for is gone. This is a group age that we're moving into. This is a new age that we're moving into. This is the age of Aquarius that we're moving into. And in that age, we bring about change through our group consciousness. And it's a group age, and we expand our consciousness, and that has impact upon the group. And that helps others to become more of who they really are. So let's understand that all of the chaos that's in the world at the moment, in Iraq and Syria and Afghanistan and Ukraine and all those other places, South Sudan and Libya and Egypt and the Middle East and so forth, The reason that there's so much chaos there is because this is a new age. We're moving out of the age of devotion into an age of Aquarius, where we have cooperation, intelligent cooperation with the plan of God and intelligent awareness of the plan of God and Goddess. To cooperate with that plan, to choose to grow and reach and stretch and expand that consciousness. And in that process, we send out a resonant wave of causation that brings about change in other people all over the world that we'll never meet. All of these ideologies are all in their dying stages, and we're witnessing the death throes of the old age. So it's a wonderful time to be alive, and I invite you to be right there in the forefront of this growth, of this expansion, of this development. I'm happy to do your horoscope for you free of charge to help you to understand yourself more. And I'm happy to give you 12 CDs out of my first book, What Really Matters, on astrology, meditation and reincarnation. Audio format, so you can listen to it with your headphones and go into meditation. And I take you in and out of meditation on a number of occasions in those 12 CDs. And it's fantastic to get the feedback that I get from all of you about the wonderful inspiration that they get from my videos that I'm releasing too. So Google is my partner, what you might say, and YouTube is my partner in getting this message out there for all of you. So let's all work together as a team. Let's all get stuck into my intensives. Let's realise that there's more to life than just survival. There's time now to become more of that image of yourself as you are becoming, the image of you as a piece of God and Goddess, growing and reaching and stretching. And one day you will go beyond the human level altogether. And how many higher levels are there? An infinite number. And we don't know about what goes on there because we're only the babies in the universe. So I invite you to become more of the giant that you truly are. You're not your limitations, you're not your blockages, you're not your addictions. It's time to make choices and to change that image. Take in that knowledge, gain that experience. Out of it comes wisdom, and you can become more of the giant that you truly are. So I thank you for your attentiveness here. Subscribe to my videos, and let's go on this journey together and fall head over heels in love. More and more in love every day with God, Goddess, all that is. Thank you.